Alright, let's jump in and begin. Hey, Master Xeon here with another Blender tutorial. Let's go ahead and jump up into Blender. Admire my background. My background's just, you remember those curves from the curves tutorial? I converted them to a mesh and rendered it in Cycles, the new render engine that they put out. Whatever case, this isn't anything to do with that. Now I'm going to go in and just load factory settings, press A, X, delete everything. We're going to go in and just add a cube. Probably should have kept the same one. Change this to Blender Game. Press Z. We're going to jump over here, change this to rigid body, collision bounds. We're going to change this to box. And there we go, GZ1. We're going to use the basic, plane here as the ground. So now we're going to press Shift D, 2, while in, front view with 1. Then we're going to press Shift R to repeat that a couple of times. We're going to go through, select all of these, Shift D, Z, 2. Repeat that a couple of times, and that's pretty good. So now let's center it up with our scene. Nothing fancy here. And then Shift A, plane. We want a S100. There we go. And we'll just leave that displaying as a wire, and down here under plane we'll just unselect it, change this to show selected, so it'll only show things we have selected. We'll change this to floor. We'll save it. We're going to back up and call this physics test. Actually, that's sloppy. Let's create a new folder. We're going to call this physics, I guess, and we'll just name this file Shatter. Alright, now we press P. That's good. Nothing happens. That's what we want. We want it to not do anything. We want to be reacted with. Shift A, add a sphere. Lower this down to 12. This to 12 as well. Press the period on a numpad to go in close. Collision bounds, change this to a sphere. Let's change this to rigid body. Well, let's change it to dynamic. We'll move it around. Alright, we'll move this back to all, and we're going to select floor. And for some reason, it's still showing up as, there we go. We don't want to see that anymore. And we'll make it visible too. Now, if we go press P, Z, P, what happens? Okay, this drops. For some reason, right now, if we're in shaded view, it's not going to show anything. Probably because of the situation with the lights, but it doesn't matter. Let's just change this to dynamic. Alright, we'll just leave it as static for now. Now we're going to jump over to game logic. And on the sphere, we're going to add an always sensor. And now, if y'all are interested in learning more about the game engine, make comments about it, and I'm more happy to do some stuff on that. But I'm pretty behind on some tutorials right now, so I have a lot that I need to do. Now, we want to change this to motion, or let's see, what do we want it to do? Alright, we'll just Z in the wireframe. Lower that to 20. Press P, we'll see where it goes. Alright, we'll change it to 10. We'll change it to 0.5. Alright, we'll change it to 1.5. And now, I guess that'll do for now. We'll go back over to default. And let's see, this object has a sphere. If we increase its radius, we actually increase its size. We could also increase the size of that to accommodate it so it's appropriate. And if we just, in front view, just press P, actually go in the perspective view, we can see it diminish in the distance. Maybe that's a little humongous. This techno's starting to get to me too. Turn that down. Alright. As you can see, cubes are just flying into infinity. Now, cubes are kind of boring. You know, anybody can do a video out of cubes. So we're going to take it a little step further, and then, you know, ingenuity, good compositing, and excellent textures can take this to whatever level, you know, you're hoping to get with here. So that's that. Now, on this, we're going to, I guess, leave them as what they are for now. We're going to hide that. And, well, actually, let's Alt-H unhide it. We'll move this here. We're just going to make sure everything is perfectly on the origin. Alright, and if we press P, there we go. That'll do. We'll H hide that. Go into wireframe view, and we're going to add a plane. Our X in edit mode, GZ1, and our SX. And I'm just scaling it to just scale this. Give me one moment. Let me respond to an instant message. Alright, now continuing. So we got our plane here. We're going to select it all, subdivide, subdivide, subdivide. And we're going to crank up the fractal. Maybe we should increase that some more. Lower this fractal so it isn't as random. Alright, whatever the case. We're going to go ahead and select this SX -1, SX -1. I'm going to just select this SX -1, SX, SZ0. I'm just scaling them down flat. Now we're going to go ahead and just take this into, you know, local mode by pressing the slash, which will separate an object. And I'm just dragging these vertices where they're not hit it there, Alt-H unhide. Just dragging these verts where they're not, you know, overlapping. That'll cause some issues. Probably, yeah. Overlapping verts is never good. Alright, so I'm almost done here. Alright, and we'll go back into this view. Oh, SY0. There we go. Now it's not looking as goofy. And on this, we're going to add a solidify modifier. Now we're going to change the offset to 0. And when we increase the thickness, it'll look like that. And we'll make it where it doesn't show in edit mode. And pretty much that's what we got. So where to go from here? So let's see. I'm actually going to go back to, I'm going to go out of this mode, 5Z. Alright, this is something you can only do on a Mac. By pressing Command, Shift, and 4, you can actually draw this little square that will take a picture of the screen as a square that you draw, and puts it as a picture on your desktop. So now I slash that, and I could just, go to my desktop, get this picture, and drag it in. On Windows, it probably isn't as easy, but, I just thought of it now, and it sounds pretty easy, instead of having the cubes there to accidentally click and all that. And, reference images aren't so bad. I mean, look, I already got them down. Now, all I gotta do is just go into face mode. Or firstly, let's go ahead, unwrap. Alright, yeah, unwrap. We're gonna pull this down and make this a UV image editor. We're going to change that project from view. And let's see, what do we want to break an image of? Let's just go on Google. We'll just look up Blender. Maybe Blender logo. Alright, let's find one that just looks decent. Maybe medium size. And yeah, that one will do. Get full size image, save image as. Thank you, whoever I took this from. Save that. Now I'm just going to drag this image over into my UV image editor, and we'll change this to textured view, so that way we can see what we're up to. And I'm just scaling this to fit it, maybe maximize this view. And they're making an update for Blender 2.5 this week. I'm pretty excited about it myself. Alright, that is a decent look. It's overlapping on the sides, but I live with that. Since we're done with this, we can go ahead and just take that up. Now, back in wireframe mode, forget all about that. Now we're just going to select each of these, just random pieces in the shape of squares, and choose separate by selection. And we're just trying to make it fit the amount of squares to fit the amount of slivers we have here. But I'll tell you, the closer they fit to their bounds, the better this whole thing is going to look. it's starting to get a little out of hand here. Yeah, totally skipping some of these pieces. I don't know about this whole thing. How's it going to turn out? So one way to find out. Just continue and pretend it's all good. We're doing fantastic, guys. So yeah, we're just for each square we're making a section of cutout. We want it to, you know, like I said, kind of fit in the range. So I know, totally boring. Alright, now we're down on this row. Alright, continuing. Almost done. I mean, I should probably pause the video and finish, but yeah, we're doing pretty good on the time. See, we probably could have been in here with a knife tool doing all sorts of cuts and subdivisions to try to make it, you know, more interesting. But for the sake of this PC and simplicity, we'll keep it simple. So, continuing with our glass. And see, the thing is since we're not applying any subdivision, all these pieces should flow together perfectly, even though they're all a bunch of individual pieces. So we're nearing the end here. If you were too bored, you probably skipped ahead. Alright, and done. So now we got that. We can get rid of our background image. And all this, we're going to get out of that. We're going to move this to layer 2. We're going to save this. Now, since we're progressing, we're going to go ahead and increment it by 1. So we got layer 1, layer 2, both together. I mean, hold shift and, you know, press 1 and 2 to get them both mirrored together. Now let's go ahead and start getting somewhere with this. So I'm selecting a sliver of glass, and then the cube, Control P, H, hide. Same with this, Control P, parent to object, hide this. And there's no real quick way to do this, unfortunately. So you're just clicking glass, clicking cubes, parenting, hiding, clicking cubes, clicking glass, hiding. And it's a long one, ain't it? Now, you might be noticing that the relationship lines are pointing kind of, you know, we'll deal with that in a minute, but that's because their origin points are set incorrectly to the original origin before we cut them out, so it doesn't take the geometry's average center into question, I guess, because we need to set it. So continuing through, shift selecting, Control P, making sure the cube is selected last, so the cube's movement influences the glass. Alright, sorry about that. Music was sucking. Had to change it. Alright, continuing on. Determined to finish this. Now, I might be undergoing a small issue, but I don't think it's going to be that serious because of the nature of it. And I'll explain it in a moment if you haven't guessed it already. Alright, Alt H. And now they go crazy, of course, at the very beginning. But now the real beauty can begin. We save it there. We go here, save as, plus, and we go to layer 1, where all the cubes are, and we select them all. And here's something interesting. If we take these and scale them on the Y like dominoes, it'll actually have a better reaction like planes of glass. We'll run a quick physics simulation. You know, we could do something about that real quick. No point in having bad lighting. Just put a Hemi, drag it up there. 0.2. Lamp. Shift A. Lamp spot. No, sun lamp. RX. Y. 90. RX 180. No. Alright, that way. GX. We'll lower this down to 0.5. Now if we play it, wait, go in solid view. And we put a I don't know, starting to get a little overboard here. Sorry about stalling. Just put some lamps down. But as you can see, reacts a lot more nicely. So we'll just hide all these lamps. Now, from here, all you gotta do is select Game, Record Animation, and press P. Now it plays the, the physics thing. And we'll let them settle a bit. And now we see that we have a bajillion keyframes. So we'll go into animation. And there's another, we can do some things about this, like simplify curves and all that. Now, scrolling down this thing would be hell. So we're going to collapse channels. Now it's a little more manageable, but not very. Choose home, and we're going to scale 0.5. We're going to scale 0.5. And we're going to scale 0.5. Now each time we do it, it shortens the amount of frames. We're going to S1. 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 Enter. I'm trying to scale it. I don't know if it's doing it or not. Alright, whatever. Let's see how it looks. All I did was just, go in the animation editor. Lower this. We go on frame 1. That's what we get. We go to frame 2. That's what we get. Now, you probably see kind of what I've been going for here. So I'm just adding a camera, GZ, 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 RX, and I'm just trying to get a nice camera shot, and move the panels. Now I'm in camera view. Let's see how it looks. And see, because of its rough, approximation here, it gets away with it. Now we'll move these to layer 2. Jump over to layer 2. We'll go back to frame 1. Alt Z puts you in, the other mode. We'll change this from game. Uncheck that. So if we go back in the engine, it won't change anything. Change it back to render, and we're going to just shift A. Now, another thing is we're going to change this from no sync to frame dropping. That way it plays in real time, drops frames if necessary. And we get a better idea of what we're dealing with. And we see that we're not looking good here. So, first thing we're going to do is render it out. Looks awful. No problem. Now this part happens very fast. I don't like that. Frame 3, frame 4, frame 3, frame 4. There needs to be some, So maybe we can fine tune this animation. Maybe we can just go back to default. Actually, go back to animation. Let's just delete this. Undo that. Let's go back to frame 1. Then remove it. So that's all that's left is this. Alt H. And we're going to take this, move this back to layer 1, and press P, see how it looks. Alright, now we could probably have this ball going like a whole lot of different ways. Like it doesn't have to be strictly limited to attacking from the front. So this is where things start to get kind of long. Unfortunately. Alright, what if we had the ball attack it a little bit differently? Let's see what happens if we have rotation. Let's play with this for a minute. We're going to save the file real quick in case things get squirrely. We're going to extrude that, scale them on the normals, lower it down, and we're going to actually go back under render game, and we're just going to play around for a moment. We're going to change this collision bounds to convex hull. And yeah, I know, it's not like any object you've ever seen, but, convex hull I've been playing with, and I can show you a couple of differences and similarities, but it'd probably bore you. But basically I've noticed it's a lot better detection of like collision from when I was playing with it. Actually, we're going to stick with it like that, but we're going to play with the size. The size could give us a lot of alright, and we're going to lower this down some. G1. How's that look? Alright, yeah, that's a little more, instead of just shatter everywhere, a little more, difference in it. So we record it again. Let that play. And because we're in orthographic view, it doesn't show it diminish in size, so I could explain that. We're going to increment the save again. Like Shatter 2 is 5.3 megs. As you can see, these keyframes jump up in size quick. We'll jump back over to Blender Render. Go to Layer 2. And from the camera view, it's going to look like it was just blue. Now, what could cause that? Alright, now let's go into animation and see what we're looking at here. That's how it's going to play. We go to frame 1. We're on frame 1, so we're going to press S.5. We'll just press enter. We're just going to go to layer 2. There's too much there to mess with. We'll raise the frames up to 160. Now, we'll go ahead and pause the video here, but if you want to end it here, we could call it, how to make a shattered glass or something. So playing it back, we got this, but I want to go in and texture it and make it look like it exploded. So let's stop here and then resume it.